Hi everyone, my name is Ellis Owens. I also go by my call sign that was given to me in the military, which is now my gamer tag, Clark Kent 434. And today I'm bringing you guys another weapons guide, and this is probably one of my favorite carbines. I consider it the ACWR's little brother because it has a lot of specs that are very similar, and I spent a lot of time in the ACWR. That was the carbine I wanted to get when I first got the game. I got it, unlocked it, and I liked it, but there was some things that they did change from the beta, and I just didn't. They just kind of irked me, and I kept playing with it, and I thought, man, there's got to be something that feels just kind of like the ACWR in the beta. And when I got the SG553, I'm like, this is like the beta's ACWR. And that's how I feel like it. It's like the little brother that, most people overlook. And, and that's what I think the SG553 is. So that's what today I'm going to be reviewing. And I hope you all enjoy this review. And I think the SG553, also known as the SIG 553, the SG is kind of short for it, is a very good, very fine weapon. I think a few people have overlooked it, and I think it's starting to gain popularity over time, which is a good thing. So, looking at the stats of it, it starts off with a maximum damage of 25 and a minimum damage of 15.4, standard for all carbines. Damage drop-off starts at 8 meters and ends at 50 meters. The fire rate is at a very good 830 RPMs, which is very strong and great in close quarters. Muzzle velocity is at 430 meters per second squared. A little bit slow, but that's still pretty good. Suppress is at 280 meters squared. Bullet drop is a standard 15 meters squared. Magazine size is a standard 31, or actually 30 with one in the chamber. Reload speeds are as followed: 2.65 with no bullets, totally empty. It's a little bit longer than maybe some other weapons, like the ACWR, the M416, but compared to most weapons, it's very fast. So I would say it's a close second to maybe some of the fastest reloading guns, but compared to most guns, it's way better. So it's going to be right there as probably maybe one of the quickest reloads in the game. With bullets left in the chamber, you have a 2.1, which is still, like I said, is very fast. ACWR is a 1.83, and 416 is a 1.85. So it's still one of the quickest reloads. Recoil pattern up is a 0.3. Recoil to the left is a 0.3, and recoil to the right is a 0.5. The recoil decreases at a rate of 18, and the first shot multiplier, which is the simulation of the initial recoil of a gun, is a 2.2. Overall, the recoil pattern is pretty good. 0.3 is considered about a medium recoil, so you got medium recoils overall. A 0.5 is kind of a high recoil, so it's pretty much a very easy, manageable recoil compared to what I consider the bigger brother, ACWR. Everything on it is a 0.4 and 5, so it's a little bit more unmanageable. So this is more easier to manage for most people, and it only pulls to the right, being the 0.5, so you know which way it's going to pull, whether you're bursting or firing full automatic. So you get that muscle memory. You always know it's going to pull to the right. First shot multiplier is at 2.2, which is the initial recoil of the gun. That's a pretty low number. Anything below 2.5 is good, and that's what will multiply your recoil pattern. And since you have a low recoil pattern overall, it's going to be really helpful. Your spread of your gun increases at a rate of 0.108. It decreases at 15. Your aim down sight accuracy is a 0.3. Aim down sight while moving is a 0.8. And standard hip firing accuracy is a 2. The 2 is not the greatest, I'll say that. It is pretty, it's not like most of the PDWs, which are 1. But, I mean, it's still, it's a lot better than maybe some of the assault rifles. It's right in the middle. Aim down sights is a 0.3, which is what most carbines are. Standard, not as bad as some other weapons like the PDW. The decrease is standard. The spread increase, the amount of increase of the bullets as per shot, a 0.18, a 0.08, excuse me. That's a little high, but it's kind of be understanded. DICE does make higher fire rate weapons have a higher spread per bullet, per shot, the degree of spread. So it's not the worst, but I mean, it can be easily dropped with a stubby or potato grip. So I mean, it's not horrible at all. Why do I consider this weapon kind of the little brother ACWR? Well, looking at it, it has a very close, fast reload times. Honestly, I think this should have had the 1.83 reload time of the ACWR because of it being a slower fire rate weapon, and the ACWR should have the 2.1. That's my personal opinion. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a tweak. This does have the better recoil pattern. ACWR has the higher recoil pattern. They're basically the same. The muzzle is a little bit higher than the ACWR, and it has an 880, so it's only 50 RPMs faster. Their time to kills, ACWR is a little bit better in close range, but it's not as good as a medium range, as you'll find with the SG553. I call it the SIG because it is a SIG. It's based off the SIG weapon design, or the SG553. I mean, the benefits of this is they basically, if you look at it, it's a lot like ACWR. They just made it where the recoil is more easily manageable so that you can be more accurate, and that's all they did. And they slowed the reload to be a tad bit slower and increased your spread of your bullets to be a little bit tighter than ACWR. To me, I think that's better because the spread of the bullets is tighter, better for that medium range that the ACWR lacks. The better recoil pattern, the 0.3s overall, and the right is a 0.5. That's easier. It's more manageable. It's so that you can steadily get onto your targets. It's not more unruly and controllable. I mean, I've have 7, 8. I've got a couple hundred kills already underneath the ACWR. And I can tell you that recoil can be very uncontrollable, especially when you use a heavy barrel, which I've tried with the ACWR. So losing a little bit of your fire rate and your muzzle velocity, it's okay. I mean, yeah, you're going to be a little bit slower, but it's manageable. And I actually really do like this weapon. This weapon right now is my highest kill per minute weapon. If you go into the battle log under weapons and stats, you can see, kill per minute. You can see what your weapons kill per minute. Certain weapons that you use will have a higher kill per minute, and this weapon for me has my highest kill per minute. So meaning that I get more kills per minute with this weapon than any other weapon. So this weapon is probably my best fit weapon. I'm a big advocate of using carbines for all classes. I just think they use a general stat that is overall good. So it's more manageable. I think that's just my personal opinion. The 0.3 that they use for the aim down sights is a balance between the PDWs and LMGs and the high accurate 80 aim down sights of assault rifles. They have a middle of the road aim down sights moving. It's better than most weapons, and their hip fire spread is between assault rifle and a PDW. They're at 2s. PDWs are 1s. Assault rifles are at 3s, like LMGs and other weapons. So I like carbines because they're like they're like that middle child. Assault rifles are like the firstborn child with only a few good specs, and assault rifles are mainly good at aiming down sights. PDWs are only good at hip fire, and carbines are kind of good at aim. They're like middle of the road. They're got some good strength aiming down sights, and they got some good strength at hip fire. So they're kind of the balance all well rounded. I really like carbines. I use carbines in all kits, and I think this carbine is probably one of the best carbines out there. I just think the ACWR is just a little bit too fast, a little bit too much close quarter combat. Comparing it to the MTAR is just even faster. It's just more of a hip fire weapon, and I don't think the MTAR would have the medium range. And that's my personal weapon, my personal preference. I know the AK5C is a really good carbine, and I just think it just has too slow of a fire rate. The 830 that this has is good. The AK5C just has a higher muzzle velocity, so that just allows it for better long range shots, but close range it lacks, and I think this makes up for that with the high fire rate. And I just feel like this is probably one of the best all-round carbines, and that's just my personal opinion. Whenever I've tested I've tested all the attachments on there. What I feel like is some of the best attachments, what I'm going to recommend, because of it having a 0.3 on recoil and a 0.5, I don't think you really need a angled or folding. I really don't think it's necessary. If you have a weapon that has high recoil like the ACWR, I recommend it because they usually suffer with medium range, so you might want to put them on there. But I don't think it's necessary, so I put a stubby on there, or potato grip. It'll help with that spread increase, which is a 0.108. So you'll even make a tighter spread for even better medium range. I feel like putting a suppressor on here. Suppressors actually benefit. I just recently been doing some study on suppressor stats, get ready to do some attachment guides, and found out they actually benefit weapons with low muzzle velocity. This has, especially ones under 500. This has a 430. So the suppressor I've been running on this does wonderful. My time to kill times really don't get decreased that much because suppressors really do well on slower muzzle velocity weapons. So this is a really good one to run suppressor. You'll see me running suppressor in this whole game. So that's another one. I also run laser sight. The downside of suppressor is you do lose some hip fire. So I do run laser to kind of counteract that. And if I ever get caught off guard, I'll just fire from the hip. And, sight of my choice. And I kind of go around with sights. But, those are what I personally like to use, and what I recommend. Try it out. I have also used the heavy barrel. That's also really great. If you get used to the weapon, definitely use it. Like I said, I'm a big advocate of carbines, especially use it all, because I think as well as, and muscle memory is a key thing with all kits, trying to learn that muscle memory. I think switching different weapons with different kits, you kind of forget, you have to retrain your muscle memory. So that's another thing why I'm a big advocate carbines. So, and that's just what I feel. So, but obviously test it out. I'd like to hear what you guys would recommend for some different setups on this weapon. Those are my attachment guides. This is what I use, and this is what I think it's so great. So if we can get enough likes, I'll post up a earlier weapon guide episode sooner than I usually do. And if you guys like this, like it, subscribe, and I'll bring some more episodes to you. Thanks, everyone.